Alessandro Nesta is back in eFootball, but this time Konami has given him something we've never seen from his previous cards, the covering roll playstyle. And honestly, when you look at Nesta's stats, this could be one of the most interesting defensive cards they've released. Let's start with the obvious. This Nesta has 102 defensive awareness and 102 tackling. Those are ridiculous numbers. He's basically built to read attacks and win the ball cleanly. But what's really interesting is that he's not designed to constantly rush out and chase attackers. That's where covering roll comes in. Think about what happens when your center back steps out to press an attacker. The moment he leaves his position, a gap appears behind him. And that's exactly where covering roll is supposed to help. Instead of your other defender just standing there watching the gap open, Nesta should move into that space and provide cover. So basically, if your other defender goes hunting for the ball, Nesta becomes the safety net. And I really like that idea, because one of the biggest problems in eFootball is getting caught when your defender steps out at the wrong time. You win the initial challenge, but suddenly there's a massive hole in your defense, and your opponent plays one pass straight through it. A covering defender can potentially reduce that problem, and Nesta looks perfectly suited for it. His defensive awareness is 102, which is exactly the kind of stat you want from a player whose job is to read space and maintain the defensive shape. Then you have 99 defensive engagement and 96 aggression, so he's not going to be completely passive either. And his 102 tackling means that when the opportunity to actually win the ball comes, he has the numbers to do it. But I think the most important thing about covering roll is that it isn't simply about tackling, it's about positioning. Nesta should be looking at where the danger is developing and filling the space before the attacker can exploit it. And that could be extremely useful against players who love through balls. Now let's look at the rest of his stats. 93 speed is excellent for a center back, while 83 acceleration is decent. So if he does need to recover, he's not going to be completely helpless. 92 physical contact is also very good, meaning he shouldn't get bullied easily by stronger forwards. Then there's 94 jump and aerial fort. That's another huge positive. Nesta isn't just there to cover space on the ground. With 94 jump and aerial fort, he should also be capable of dealing with aerial situations. And then we have long reach tackle. This is probably one of my favorite skills for a defender because it fits the entire idea of the card. Nesta can cover space, read the attack, and then use that reach to make a challenge when the ball becomes available. His 86 stamina is also good enough for a center back, especially because you're going to want him involved throughout the entire match. Now, I think the covering roll playstyle could completely change how you use Nesta. You don't necessarily want him to be the defender constantly flying out to press. You want him behind the action. Let your other defender step forward. Let your midfielder press. Let the opponent think they've found space. And then Nesta is sitting there, waiting to close it down. That's the theory anyway. And that's why I'm really interested to see how this card actually performs in-game. Because the stats are obviously ridiculous, but the real question is whether covering roll feels noticeably different from using a normal center back. If it does, this could be a very special card. 102 awareness, 102 tackling, 99 engagement, 96 aggression, 93 speed, 92 physical contact, and 94 jump is already an incredible defensive package. But adding covering roll gives Nesta an actual identity. He's not just another defender with crazy numbers. He's the guy who's supposed to clean up the mistakes your other defenders make. And if Konami has actually made that work properly, this Nesta could be one of the most intelligent defenders in eFootball. So I'm definitely watching this card closely, because sometimes the best defender isn't the guy making the tackle. Sometimes it's the guy who makes sure you never needed to make the tackle in the first place.